What if I told you that the most important spacecraft of the 21st century isn't a government creation, nor a relic of the space shuttle era, but a sleek, reusable capsule built by a private company? One that can fly itself, survive the harshness of re-entry, and return astronauts safely to Earth again and again. This is not a dream. This is SpaceX's Dragon, and it is not just changing how we get to space. It is redefining what is possible in orbit. From autonomous docking with the International Space Station to flying billionaires into low Earth orbit, and delivering crucial science payloads with clockwork precision, Dragon has done more in a decade than many programs have in generations. And the most fascinating part? It's only just getting started. In the early 2000s, the world was watching NASA retire the space shuttle, unsure of what would come next for American crewed spaceflight. After decades of relying on the shuttle, a marvel, yes, but also a deeply flawed and expensive system, NASA began shifting toward the idea of commercial partnerships. The idea was radical at the time. What if private companies could develop and operate spacecraft to carry cargo, and eventually astronauts, into space? One of the earliest and most ambitious players in this new space economy was SpaceX, the brainchild of entrepreneur Elon Musk. In 2006, SpaceX was awarded a contract under NASA's Commercial Orbital Transportation Services (COTS) program, aimed at encouraging the development of new space vehicles. While many saw SpaceX as an underdog, a startup with big dreams but little credibility, Elon Musk and his small but brilliant team were already working on a vehicle that would soon become a legend: the Dragon spacecraft. Dragon 1, the original version, was a relatively simple capsule compared to what it would become. Designed primarily for uncrewed cargo missions, Dragon 1 first flew in 2010 and became the first commercial spacecraft to return safely to Earth from orbit. But its biggest moment came in 2012, when it successfully berthed with the International Space Station, ISS, a feat previously achieved only by national space agencies. This marked the beginning of a new era. NASA now had a reliable, cost-effective way to send supplies to the ISS without depending on the aging Russian Progress capsules or the retiring European ATV and Japanese HTV spacecraft. Dragon 1 became a workhorse, making over 20 missions under the Commercial Resupply Services (CRS) contract. But even as Dragon 1 was making history, SpaceX was already working on something far more ambitious, a human-rated version that would eventually fly astronauts. Enter Crew Dragon, also known as Dragon 2. Unlike its predecessor, Dragon 2 was designed from the ground up with human passengers in mind. It featured touchscreen controls, advanced life support systems, Super Draco abort engines for launch escape, and a futuristic interior that looked more like a sci-fi movie set than anything NASA had flown before. But perhaps its most groundbreaking feature was full autonomy. Crew Dragon could launch, navigate, dock with the ISS, undock, and return to Earth, all with no pilot input required. It was and remains the most automated crewed spacecraft ever built. On May 30, 2020, Crew Dragon made history when it carried NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken to the ISS on the Demo 2 mission, the first time a private company had sent humans into orbit and the first launch of astronauts from U.S. soil since the end of the shuttle era in 2011. This flight was more than a success. It was a paradigm shift. Overnight, SpaceX had become the world leader in orbital crew transport. In the years since, Crew Dragon has completed multiple missions under NASA's Commercial Crew Program, delivering astronauts from multiple nations to the ISS with unmatched reliability. The capsule is reusability. It can fly multiple times with only minor refurbishment, means the cost per seat has dropped dramatically compared to previous systems. Where NASA once paid over $80 million per seat to fly astronauts aboard Russian Soyuz spacecraft, the cost of a Dragon seat is now closer to $50 million, and falling. But the Dragon's impact goes far beyond economics. It has enabled NASA to refocus its resources on deep space exploration while leaving low Earth orbit transport in the hands of the private sector. The Dragon capsule's design is deceptively simple yet incredibly powerful. The spacecraft consists of a pressurized capsule and an unpressurized trunk section. The trunk contains solar arrays and provides structural support during launch. The capsule itself is built from composite materials and equipped with the PKX heat shield, a proprietary version of NASA ES phenolic impregnated carbon ablator, which protects the spacecraft during re-entry. Inside, Dragon can carry up to 7 passengers or a combination of cargo and crew. It features an advanced avionics system capable of autonomous decision-making, and its interior is outfitted with sleek touchscreens that provide real-time data on position, health status, and trajectory. It's no surprise that astronauts have described flying in Dragon as riding inside a Tesla, but in space. Beyond ISS missions, Dragon is enabling a revolution in private spaceflight. With NASA's blessing, SpaceX has begun flying civilian passengers into orbit. The first such mission, Inspiration 4, launched in September 2021 and carried 4 private citizens into space, including billionaire Jared Isaacman, cancer survivor Haley Arsenault, geologist Cian Proctor, and data engineer Chris Sembrowski. The mission orbited the Earth for 3 days, reaching a higher altitude than the ISS, and served as a powerful demonstration of what private space tourism could become. Unlike suborbital trips offered by Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic, Dragon's passengers experienced true orbital flight, complete with sustained microgravity, breathtaking Earth views, and real research capabilities. Since then, SpaceX has launched several other private missions, including AX-1 and AX-2 in partnership with Axiom Space, which aims to build the first commercial space station. Another underappreciated aspect of Dragon is its role in reducing space dependency on Earth launch schedules. Because of its rapid turnaround capability and autonomous systems, Dragon missions can be launched more flexibly, making it easier to accommodate new science payloads, urgent cargo, or unexpected crew rotations. This flexibility is also transforming how agencies think about contingency planning. In the past, a delay in one nation's launch system could jeopardize an entire mission schedule. Today, with Dragon in play, there's a dependable backup, and a primary solution that's setting the gold standard. Looking ahead, SpaceX has even bigger plans for Dragon. While much attention is focused on Starship, the fully reusable heavy-lift vehicle that will eventually carry cargo and humans to Mars, Dragon remains the backbone of near-Earth missions. There are talks of modifying the capsule for deep space applications, including lunar orbit or use as an emergency lifeboat on the future Gateway station. Its modular design allows for adaptation, including potentially integrating with other vehicles or adding enhanced life support systems for longer duration flights. SpaceX is also experimenting with medical technology on board Dragon, testing how long-duration microgravity affects human physiology. These missions are laying the groundwork for the first humans to go beyond low Earth orbit since Apollo. And there's one more thing, something bold, something only SpaceX would attempt. In 2023, Elon Musk teased the possibility of using Dragon capsules as planetary probes. In theory, the heat shield and capsule shape could allow for atmospheric entry on other worlds, think Mars or Venus. While speculative, it speaks volumes about the versatility of the platform. What began as a humble cargo capsule is now a central player in multiple domains: orbital transport, scientific research, space tourism, and even future interplanetary missions. Let's not forget safety. After the Challenger and Columbia disasters, crew safety became paramount for NASA. Dragon addresses this with an integrated launch escape system powered by 8 Super Draco thrusters. These engines can ignite in milliseconds if something goes wrong during ascent, pushing the capsule and crew to safety. It's already been tested in real time. And it works. Unlike the shuttle, which required full-stack ejection, or Soyuz's relatively primitive system, Dragon's escape mechanism is modern, responsive, and highly reliable. This has restored confidence in American spaceflight and set a new benchmark for spacecraft safety. The public perception of space has also evolved because of Dragon. Before SpaceX, spaceflight was something only elite astronauts from government agencies could dream of. Now kids grow up seeing civilians fly to space, YouTubers visiting NASA, and capsules returning from orbit like sci-fi time machines. Reusability, accessibility, and innovation. These are the core values that Dragon has brought to the table. It's not just a spaceship, it's a cultural shift. So where do we go from here? The Dragon is still flying strong, but its legacy is already cemented. It has proven that private industry can not only match the achievements of national space programs, but exceed them. It has inspired competitors around the world to build their own reusable crew vehicles. China's Tianzhou, Russia's Orbital, Europe's Hermes all owe something to Dragon's disruptive success. As we enter a new space age, with orbital hotels, lunar bases, and eventually Martian colonies, the Dragon capsule will be remembered as the vehicle that truly launched the future. In summary, the Dragon spacecraft isn't just a technological marvel, it's a symbol of transformation. It has democratized access to space, brought autonomy and safety into the forefront, and proven that even the stars are within reach when you combine vision with engineering. From cargo missions to crew launches, from space tourists to science experiments, the Dragon capsule has become the reliable workhorse of low Earth orbit, and a shining example of what humanity can accomplish when bold ideas meet brilliant execution.